Welcome back, Charles.
It is a pleasure to be back. To the viewers, you'll notice I'm now color coordinated. I splashed out in where did I do it? Singapore. I bought some new shirts.
Oh, nice.
Lacoste shirt, and to match the pink in the hat.
Is stuff less expensive in Singapore?
Oh, yeah.
It is?
In duty free, yeah. It was on sale as well. And I'll make a full report of that. But I have, to just kick this off for our viewers, I have developed a can't miss income tax strategy for the United States to get us out of debt.
Wow. I want to hear about that as we're walking, but rather than staying stationary, let's talk about what you wanted to talk about over here for a moment, and then the tax plan.
All right. So up across the street, here you have this idiot, Eric Adams, our mayor, and this idiot, Kathy Hochul, our governor. And you have three buildings. How the fuck did people get up there and do that graffiti? Why is that graffiti still there? Mm-hmm. Why isn't there a graffiti task force that's going around? These people have distinctive tags. Figure out who they are.
Right.
They're defacing buildings all over the place, damaging property values. That shit's got to be cleaned up by the owner, and we got to go after these graffiti artists. And then you see across the street, there's a pile of junk, and where they think a person is asleep next to it. We'll see this all over the city, more graffiti on the side of that. That's actually decent art on the side of that MSG.
I think that's the store painted that.
I doubt it.
They did. When it opened, that mural appeared there.
All right, but further up the street, more graffiti. I don't want to live in this environment. If I wanted to live in post-apocalyptic America, I would decide to move there. But this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear Eric Adams and Kathy Hochul having encouraged all these illegal immigrants to come to New York City, say that now they have a problem that the federal government they create a problem that now we, the taxpayer, and here's another bum. This is fucking ridiculous. So my tax.
Here's the cops.
Yeah. Well,
blocking the sidewalk. Crosswalk. What the hell is he doing? There is a guy in there.
Is there?
There's a guy. There's two guys right in there.
Okay. We don't have the light. Now we do. And there's this idiot.
Isn't this absurd? The cops are just...
They're waiting for the bar to open.
Probably.
And here's two thugs over here in the corner, probably dealing drugs. This guy fast asleep in his own collection of garbage next to
This was a weed store until like days ago.
Is this only one person or is it more than one? With two dogs.
Whoa. Yeah, it's a smell coming from there.
You got to be kidding me. And it's 10... whatever time it is today. It's, how are the cops letting this shit happen? You let this kind of stuff happen, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And now we're approaching the drop-off point for illegal immigrants.
The Flix
on
bus.
The west side. Yeah. Well, it's up the street here.
No, this right here is a Flix bus.
I know,
stop.
But the drop-off point's around the corner. Let's just see.
Oh yeah, let's look at that. It's worse than last time.
The last time we were here, there was somebody cutting hair. On the side, his client was on a. There's a guy selling cigarettes. You want to go this way, I think.
I know. I'm just trying to see these guys doing. That's their office over there. Is the that Link NYC thing is giving them electricity and connectivity there.
Right.
What did that idiot saying?
I don't know. So last time we were here, there was a guy cutting hair. I told my barber I got a haircut. I levered up and borrowed a whole bunch of money to get a haircut, and the capital markets were affected by those transactions. But, and I was telling this guy, my barber's from Uzbekistan. He's a really nice guy. His claim to fame is that not just that he cuts my hair, but that he cuts Anderson Cooper's hair, and he does a good job on Anderson Cooper. Now this is interesting.
It's closed now.
Yeah, somebody must have made an issue about this, because this place was illegal immigrant central. In fact, what's going on here?
It says vacate. Look at that. Yeah, it was illegally housing them there. The fire department told them to vacate. Wow, good job,
on
New York
October
Post.
23rd.
So that's going to be after that guy posted the video where the private security was hassling him here. Yeah. That's crazy.
We have footage of this.
Well, we had it before that guy did, but he got it into the New York Post.
Let's go up the 8th Avenue. So I think that's interesting. So a little bit of progress. But
I don't know if that's progress. That's just moving it somewhere else. Because we got a new bus company here, the Tripped Out Bus Company or whatever that was called. That's Janet Yellen running that.
The mushrooms haven't affected her at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I love these people who. Well, anyway, I want a headline because we'll talk about this. And what does it say?
Delaware,
No,
D.C.
What does it say before?
Delaware.
Delaware and D.C. Okay. Yeah.
Written so that
Maybe
you
they
can
should
read
drop these people off in front of Joe Biden's mansions in Delaware.
Well, there's all kinds of protests going on in D.C. right now.
Let me just say,
Yeah.
this is a brilliant plan. In all
Okay, yeah, let's
honesty.
have it.
Seldom do I come up with something where I go out on a limb and say it's fucking brilliant. So we've got a massive structural deficit. We have idiots in running this country, from Yellen to Biden to Hochul to Adams. So instead of tax the rich, which is really fucking stupid, my plan is very simple. 3-word plan. Tax the fools. We'll tax all the fools.
It costs money to be stupid.
Yeah,
We'd be the
you're a
richest
fool.
nation in the world.
You know, you're out there, as Pete Buttigieg, you're out there spending your time, and the ports are a mess, the airports are a mess, the train system is a mess, the bus system is a mess, highways are a mess, and you're on an expedition to find racist roads. That's what you're spending your time on. You're a fucking moron. You know, I don't care if you've got a Rhodes Scholarship, a Marshall Scholarship, degrees from every elite university, you're nonetheless a fool. And, you know, same with AOC and the squad, a bunch of fucking fools. You want to go tax the rich? No, you're exhibit A in the definition of a female fool, right? The Supreme Court justice who doesn't know the difference between a man and a woman, you're another fool. Elizabeth
Let me
Warren,
clarify one point that might have people disagreeing with you, Charles, because my understanding of you saying that taxing the rich is foolish, I would think that's because rich people are creating businesses and opportunities for everybody else, so we don't want to disincentivize that. We want to tax charity grifters and people who are taking advantage of things.
Well, again, if you look through go to the Middle East, go through long periods of history or long swaths of history, when you have envy entering into political
Policy
decision,
making,
any kind of, that is a prescription for conflict. Because the second you allow some moron with no education, no real education in finance and economics, to start designing tax policies and all this kind of stuff, it's easy to go down the path when you're an idiot of saying, well, okay, rich people in America aren't paying their fair share. What is the fair
Exactly.
share? Okay, how much should government cost? We don't have, we have history here where under Republicans and Democrats alike, the cost of government goes up and up and up, but the output of government is
down.
Is worse than down. It's counterproductive.
It's hurting us.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that this government is a threat to its citizens and to the people of the world. And as far as taxing the rich, until you have global government, which you're not going to have, there will always be a competition for capital.
And there should be. This is the human nature.
Right, and so, I can report now where I was. It would take a while to go through everywhere, but 2 case points. Dubai, which I first visited in 1996.
What was it like then? Nothing.
It was a collection of buildings, but not as big as now. Now it's like gigantic.
It's like Manhattan now.
Right. Much nicer than Manhattan.
Nicer and newer, but that kind of size.
Well, and just it's a clean and spectacular version where, believe it or not, the Islamic, it's a monarchy.
Yep.
And it's tolerant.
Nah.
Absolutely. In my experience, there.
Well, comparatively, you do anything they don't like, they'll stick you in jail.
Well, how about here?
You're right.
Are we tolerant?
No.
Not at all. If you say the wrong thing, you got the January 6th people rotting in hell as the Palestinian protesters are trying to shake down the gates of the White House.
Breaching the fence with a foreign flag.
Desecrating statues and stuff like that. We'll see how many, and these were tens of thousands of people doing it.
I know.
How many of them are going to be hauled off to jail?
Was it mostly peaceful?
Yeah, exactly. So
the answer was none. Everybody already went home, right? Are they going to be hunting for them for the next 2 years?
They should be. And so in the case of Singapore, that country didn't exist until 1965.
Really?
Yeah, it was a portion of Malaysia, and it was given away to form a new city-state. That is the richest country on earth. It is a wonderful place. Yeah, per capita. But it is a wonderful place to go as a visitor. It's a little bit expensive, but cheaper than New York. And just the energy level there of both city-states, which is really what they are, saying, you know what, we want capital. So we're going to make this place attractive to foreigners
Right.
who will let New York City and New York State, basically knife themselves in the gut. That's the American tax policy is punish all of your customers. The way you do in a steakhouse. What's that steakhouse in Brooklyn?
Peter Luger's.
Yeah. Punish your customers, but persecute your best customers. Take the top 1,000 richest people in America and fucking make their lives miserable, so that Joe Biden can have another crooked mansion,
right?
And his idiot son can be allowed to write an editorial saying that he's being unfairly,
And he's suing
targeted.
the IRS.
I mean, you gotta be. That guy has fucking
balls.
brass balls.
Yeah.
And the father. Shame on the father and the advisors.
Well,
one
I
of my
think that
children-
they're not doing this to help Hunter. Hunter is the bag man. They need to
but
protect themselves.
My children understand if they tried some stunt like that,
They're going to jail.
that I will oppose them.
Right.
And here we have a nice collection of people. And where's the compassion? We have an open southern border, people flooding into this shithole.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. This is an important question because you see, there are enough people now. I remember when 9/11 happened, I was 20, what was I, 21 or something?
I don't know.
2001, I was 19.
No, you would have been. 2001 is 22 years ago.
29.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just something about that was super duper real. There's a way that you can be a teenager and even in your 20s and 30s in the United States and be like, hey, everything's fine with me.
Right.
I'm not paying attention to what's going on over there. But that was the first kind of event where even if you weren't political, you're made aware that, hey, there's stuff going on around the world that could affect me. And then the Patriot Act comes in and everybody says, well, you know what? I'm not doing anything, so I don't mind if they look at my stuff so long as it keeps us safe. So now what we've got, 30 years down the line or 20 years down the line, 20 whatever years down the line here, we've got an open border. So if you're checking all of our emails and violating the Fourth Amendment and violating the First Amendment to keep us ostensibly safe, how can that coexist with the incredibly negligent behavior of leaving the door completely open?
Or how do you let the precedent stand in supposedly the financial capital, global financial capital of finance in New York City? How do you let the precedent stand of a moron running for attorney general on a principle that she's going to use government resources to persecute one family, which you're not supposed to, in a civil case, which you're not supposed to do, and then waste a lot of time and energy and money
sitting in the court,
having people. There should be a process by which spurious litigation,
can be immediately shut down.
Right, with prejudice.
Right, and the person who brought it gets in trouble.
Right, and so, here's this idiot setting a precedent now that, it doesn't matter what happened in a transaction 10, 12, 15 years ago. If this moron decides that the basis upon which the transaction 10 or 15 years ago happened was wrong, she gets the absolute right at free cost to go back.
At our cost.
Well, free for her.
Right.
But go back and train all these resources on a person the New York Times is finally reporting, courtesy of Rantingly, that Trump will decimate Biden in the election right now. And I'm sure that's right.
Yeah. That's cheat, though.
Right. But anyway, so she sets that precedent. The same person's encouraging all these illegal people to come in here and destroy this city and destroy the state. And
Charles,
what?
You should get that haircut. It's the
If
Sideshow
I
Bob.
wish I could.
The Sideshow Bob haircut.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and we're just sitting here and we're having a debate about, we're letting this person persecute one family, not thinking through that, okay, you can have a change, and let's pick a state which is reliably Republican. You want to have, the New York precedent stand, let's say in Texas, where you can now go after Obama for being an idiot, in a Texas court with a conservative judge. Obama's now saying, thanks to the activists.
That's a good idea, actually.
Do you see this thing that Obama's saying? Originally, he said he was on the side of Israel, and he's just now virtue signaling, which is all he knows how to do, and saying, well, I'm glad the activists have pushed me to change the view that I ought to support. Get out of here. Support the Hamas.
Obama said that?
Yeah. I'm glad the activists have pushed me to back off from supporting Israel.
What?
I know.
So here's the thing. Look, I don't like this statement, this thought, this notion that we unequivocally support
Anybody.
fill in the blank. Exactly. However, the message that I have for all the people who are watching this who might think it's a great idea to march with Hamas
Right.
and to have a Palestinian flag in support of the still kidnapped people, Charles, it's amazing to me, what do these people think happen if Hamas succeeds in
Right.
pushing Israel into the sea? We're next. Anybody with a white face
Right.
who's not a radical, devout,
Moron.
Islamo-fascist
Right.
is next on their list, and they are literally
Right.
Turkey's demanding Thanksgiving now.
Right. Well, so you have this. I don't know if you're familiar with this concept in Islam called taqiyya.
Yes, lying to the infidels.
Lying is okay to
It's
further the
encouraged.
cause, and so that is not okay. That is a strict. That is probably in other portions of Islamic, the Hadith and the Quran is probably forbidden to lie as a guess.
Any religion should be, right?
Right, and the same should be true in our justice system. The DOJ, the IRS, etc., can lie to try to trick you,
Right.
and then that should be strictly forbidden. But anyway, so when people have these axiomatic and dogmatic points of view about Palestine, that you need this and you need that because look at all this. No, it's a long-term plan.
Sorry, I unplugged something. Give us a second.
This happened in the New York Times. So
Wait. Sorry. Okay.
So
Standing in front of New York Times. All right, Charles. So this is really not cooperating now. For some reason, I can't hear us. Give it a second. It's going to come back. I think. There. No. Okay. Sorry.
So here we're just stand for a second in front of the New York Times, whose official motto is all the news that's fit to print, when its real motto is all the bullshit that we decide to print anyway in the New York Times.
Somebody resigned from there after publishing something on social media.
Anti-Israel.
Right. So they say she resigned, but does that mean that they said, "Hey, you're resigning later"?
So if the principle of a nation state or a movement is to destroy another nation state,
You can't support that.
That is not something that should be supported, whether we say it, whether the Palestinians say it or whatever. That's bullshit, and no sensible person should be supporting that, because the second you said let that precedent stand, then that allows ultra religious people to say, now let's destroy Palestine because we disagree with Palestine. I mean,
Right.
you can't, that destroying nations, especially
Can't be part of your manifesto or
right.
whatever.
But instead, when we think about it, that is the Biden plan. We are expert at destroying nations, and the Obama plan. I mean,
Well, and he's doing it to the United States now.
I know. Well,
See, that's what I see, Charles. When I see 10,000 people in the street in Washington,
More than 10.
D.C., or more than 10,000 people are here in Times Square, you know what I see in my head is Adam Sharp telling CNBC about how beautifully the Arab Spring foments
Right.
on the platform.
well, or think about the contrast. You get these pro-Palestinian people who say, we need a ceasefire. Where were you on Ukraine? Right? There was a ceasefire brokered that Zelensky accepted a month into this mess. Now there are over 500,000
Month
people.
into the Ukraine mess.
Yeah, 500,000 people are dead. We refuse to enter into discussions because, stinking Blinken and the various other
Do you wanna go
idiots.
there?
Well, don't we want to cross like 45th or 6th? Well, we could go that way.
Stinking Blinken.
They refuse to, they encourage Zelensky to have ridiculous positions. And you're going to watch. Apparently the Russians have made a lot of progress. Who knows if it's really true, but reports currently are that there's some town that begins with A that is, the latest Bakhmut, and it seems like Russia is going to get it. And Putin and the Russians, Medvedev has said that Poland better watch it. And I tweeted out or circulated out that story. I would listen carefully to Russia, because if I had Russia's hand now, it's crystal clear to me that the present leadership in many countries in the West is not being reasonable.
Yeah.
It is not ever going to be reasonable. And so if you're not going to be reasonable, we've been very patient. I would take Poland. I put troops on the border so you can't come in from Poland into Ukraine, and I consider, depending on what the Poles do, of pushing harder. And it's not like the Russians are saying, they're not explaining what their viewpoint is. The Russians are saying, yeah, we had it with this bullshit.
I think Mike Johnson said the most sensible thing about the ceasefire and people asking for a ceasefire now. There's been thousands of years of war going on between Jews and the Arab nations that hate them and want to destroy them and
not just
expel
Jews.
them from that region.
Not
Jews,
just
Christians, infidels, non-believers, non-Muslims. That's been going on for thousands of years. It is totally disingenuous for the supporters of modern Palestine to begin the argument in 1946.
Right.
We at least...
48.
Sorry, 1948. We at least need to go back to 1917, and we
go
honestly need to go back thousands of years.
Right.
So the concept of, Jews stole this land from Palestine, that's an invalid argument. There was a war there. England and France and the other victors in the war took control of the region and divvied it up the way every single other piece of land on this planet has ever been dealt with since the dawn of humanity.
Right.
And what's happening now is a gaslighting campaign to convince the rest of the world that this nation that wants to exterminate Israel should do that. And not just Israel, every Jewish person everywhere on the planet. That's my bigger concern.
Right. Well,
this argument for Israel is for Israel to deal with.
But just embrace it. It's not simply Israel. It's or Jews. It's
You're
every
right.
non-believer,
Right.
Christian alike.
That's right.
Hindu, Buddhist, Baha'i, you name it. Anybody who is not a supporter, adherent of that one particular religion, this group thinks you have the right to exterminate, and that's bullshit.
The duty to exterminate.
Yeah.
And not only that, Charles, what about all these people who are supporting this? Do they support forcing women to cover their faces and allowing husbands to
Or
stone?
throwing gay people off the
Throwing
roof.
gay people off a building, mercy killings of the daughter who loses her virginity at the
this?
prom when she's not married. Do
What's
they
this?
support all that?
Yeah. What is it with all these people here in front of this place? What are they
This
doing?
is probably the new migrant center. Undoubtedly. They got tags.
Yeah. What is this over here?
It's,
Nuts for nuts. Biden's going to be the celebrity spokesperson by acclamation.
I don't know what's going on here. This is this woman giving something out, it seems.
Oh yeah, tickets. They're all going to this.
Yeah.
Feel free to block the sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's a serious hazard. We got a big problem with people.
Again, tax the fools, Jason. It's brilliant. These people are all fucking fools.
We'd be rich, Charles.
Come on, we new policy.
Well, Charles, we're just about at the end of our intro segment here, and it's good timing. People are going to be able to join us, not only in the First Amendment Forum, but also in Times Square if they become sponsors on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, or subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. We'll be back in just 5 minutes, continue the conversation, lots more to talk about with Charles, and we're going to check out Times Square, see if anything crazy is going on today.